she is still very, very not okay with the fact that when asked almost at gunpoint or at lens point if they had sex, he said, "We fooled around." This is a cataclysmic answer. She's devastated by this because she's, when I say these people are mentally ill, it makes it tough because she is severely autistic. But so we know what's going on there, but Riley has no excuse. Although, can you talk?
Sure. Okay. So
there's a lot of stuff on TV, but not all of it's good. In fact, a lot of it's bad TV.
Back in it.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that exciting?
Yes.
It's bad TV. We are here with Kaylin.
Hi.
We are here with Ruby.
Hello.
Hudson's Yards.
Oh, boy.
And Patrick, new baby daddy Patrick, is up in the shit.
The father of Elliot and Quentin. That's who I am.
Proud father of Elliot and Quentin. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm through it. We'll never do it again. That's it. 2 kids. Done.
Yeah,
I don't ever want to go into a hospital until I'm almost dead. And hopefully I die before I go. I hate hospitals.
This is the most convoluted thing. I don't know why they make joint holsters so complicated.
Yep.
It's just like,
It doesn't look that complicated.
no, trust me. Getting this thing open, it was like a goddamn Freemasons puzzle. You know how they do that?
No.
Is that the answer is 7 always?
Everybody
for them,
go watch
right?
The Lioness, me and Ruby's new favorite show. Absolutely obsessed. It's horrible, but we should be covering that for bad TV. My God.
But it should be the only episode of bad TV that's actually called good TV because it is great.
Speaking of bad TV, guys, if you don't mind, I want to poll the audience. I want to get some feelers out there. Dylan and I and Ruby have been talking like, hey, what's our next thing we're going to do? And I've been watching these commercials for The Golden Bachelor with Jerry. Looks pretty good. It's going to be on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock starting in September 26th. Should we recap it? And if there's enough of you, we'll recap it. And if there's a lot of you, we'll put it behind a goddamn paywall and make you pay for it.
It's important to know that you can support this podcast in many ways. You can tell a friend, you can donate a little, or you can donate a little more. I heard that in a Jungian psychology podcast I was listening today. He said, to help us be corporate sponsorship free, you could donate a little or a little more. And I'm going to start saying that,
I like it.
A little bit more. Yeah. So
No. Quick question.
Uh-huh.
What do you think about aquariums? Are aquariums ethical that aren't SeaWorld?
That's a long explanation.
So complicated.
Very long explanation for that because SeaWorld does a lot of good too, but everybody's watched Blackfish. You can see how horrible.
I didn't think it was that bad. I'm kidding. That was a joke. I've never even seen the film. I can't watch animals suffer.
If you own a saltwater aquarium or a reef, you're not doing the environment any favors. I'll say that. But if you own a freshwater tank with some goldfish, go have fun.
Okay.
What a dumb question.
I mean, clearly it wasn't, and it required a lot of thought and too much explanation to properly chat about right
What
now.
are you gonna
So I
get,
think it was
fish?
a great question. No, I might go to an aquarium. And I said, I don't know if I will do that because I don't think it's ethical. So I have to look this up.
Oh, see, I was thinking about in-home. You're talking about Long Beach.
I took it as both.
Okay.
The question, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Monterey Bay Aquarium.
Now, Monterey does a lot of good.
Monterey does do a lot of good, but the Monterey Bay Aquarium is disgusting. It's humid, and there are kids running around. They're putting their fingers all over everything. It's absolutely disgusting. Let's talk about 90 Day Fiancé. Kaylin, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I think you asked him that.
No, I just introduced him.
Oh, okay.
I'm aware of what's going on, Patrick.
Okay.
We have a big episode to talk about, and I would like to segue into my POTS and my passports, if that's okay.
Of course, Dylan.
I say a big episode, and I mean a big episode. Every single one of these episodes is a big episode. And what do I mean by that? it's way too fucking long. I don't know why these reality television shows think that they are worthy of 2 hours of television. There are The Hunted with Benicio del Toro. I don't even think that is 2 hours, and that's nonstop thrills and knife fighting. This is a fucking shitty reality television show. I got to tell you, I cannot wait for the season to be up. I don't want to be neggy, but get me out of the Philippines. It's too sad. I don't want to watch it anymore. 0 pots. Pat?
Well, can I defer to Ruby because I got to gather my thoughts after that diatribe. Please, Ruby.
Sure. Yeah, no, I'll take it away. Although I agree, very, very sad.
Wow,
a lot of sad.
Crispy R.
I'm sorry. That was, yeah.
You agree?
I normally just agree, but there I did agree. And I want to apologize for it because I should be, if someone came in, gun to my head, blew it right now, you'd be like, well, fucking Crispy R. And
he'd
be like,
Crispy
and then
R.
he'd salute, and then the killer would leave.
Yeah.
But then I'd wake up because I'm the lioness.
Right.
I thought that I forgot how not sad I was last episode when I saw none of Riley. I believe Riley will beat most women.
Okay.
But I love to see Violet, and I love to see Violet manipulate. So that was really fun for me.
Yeah.
Christian and Cleo make me exhale. Misha excites me deeply. I can't wait to talk about it. Yeah, actually, no, I take it back. I don't think it was a bad episode. I think that there was a lot to talk about, and it was really, really fucking fun and packed with thrills.
Yeah.
And it was Benicio del Toro, 78 passports.
I agree. Can I amend mine?
Of course.
Violet is my favorite character on, I think, any reality television show I've ever watched.
Yep.
Her pimp hand is the strongest thing I've probably ever seen in my entire life. And Misha is wasted in the beginning of this episode and is almost swallowed up by a biblical hole in the ocean.
Yep.
1 passport.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So amended there. There you go. Okay. All right. Dylan, I agree with you. 2 hours of television, and it seems like it's a more common trait of our reality TV makers in 2023. Why 2 hours? Why 2 hours? You pointed out, I think, was one of your best examples. James Cameron spent 8 years creating The Way of Water, Avatar, the sequel.
And that's only an hour longer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
These guys just shit these episodes out. That being said, I like how it moves. You get 5 minutes with this couple. You get 5 minutes with another couple. It's a commercial break for 6 minutes. You get 5 minutes with this couple. You get 5 minutes with that couple. It's another commercial break. It's fun. I'll say
can I interrupt you really quickly? The question is, do we need the 5 minutes with the couple?
Okay. With Tyree, absolutely not. He's a sad sack. But I'm emotionally invested in these couples. Do I think any of them are going to work out? Absolutely not.
No.
But it is kind of fun, and they're unique kind of relationships. So I'm having fun on the ride.
Yeah.
That being said, my least favorite couple is Gino and Jasmine.
Oh, come on.
And that fakakta conversation about him, 53, and her, whatever. Will they have children together?
Yeah.
That is television I don't like, but I was amused by a immature thought that I had, which is, imagine if they were able to pull off a baby, and she was on the stirrups.
Do you mean like keep it alive?
Well, she had a full-term pregnancy. They go up to the hospital very much like I did last week. She pops the baby out, and it's wearing a hat.
Yeah. Well, she would be able to carry the child to term because she is 35 years old, and it would have a hat because Gino is a biological anomaly. He always has a hat on. I don't understand that.
And also, I was like, has that ever happened? A baby born and it's wearing a fucking hat. And I was like, well, we went to the moon, didn't we? Anything can happen.
We did not go to the moon. We shot it at the top of Laurel Canyon. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, and then when the baby wearing the hat comes out, he's like, oh my God, how did that happen? And she looks at him and she's like, Gino, it's because you ejaculate. And then he's like, oh, right.
And then they cut to the baby, and the baby's doing this face. 5 minutes out of the vagina.
Yeah. Okay, can we let's stop. Let's get into it. We're going with another movie title tonight. Last week was St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah.
which I understand is a reference to weather. But it's also a movie, and it's a bad movie. This week, we got Field of Dreams. And similar to last week, and I'm sorry if I'm missing something. I'm sorry if this is going to make you pull your hair out. But I haven't the faintest fucking idea why either one of those episodes was named what they were. Why Field of Dreams?
Field of Dreams. Wow.
There was
so dumb.
no field.
No one's even talking about dreams.
No.
This is the quality of television this is. If something was incorrectly titled on, let's say, a Game of Thrones episode, there would be Reddit threads galore. This, I think there's somebody who just completely phoned it in. They're just typing in movies and then sending it out, and no one cares. Wow. Not a single soul gives a fuck. St. Elmo's Fire. Why was the episode called that?
What was that movie that came out 10 years ago about hamsters that were spies?
Oh.
Well, anyway, they should call the next episode that.
It's something about, like, the Squad.
Yeah.
It's something about the Squad. Like Secret Squad or something like
G-Squad
that.
or something
like G-Squad.
They should call the next episode just to see. Like, really test yourselves there, producers of 90 Day.
100%. Yeah, I think Tracy Morgan was a ferret in that film.
G-Squad is Gino's favorite film.
G-Force.
Call the next episode G-Force. About gophers.
All right. Rubes, final thoughts?
No, final thoughts is I was going to say, it sounds like they ask ChatGPT, like a different ChatGPT every week. What's your favorite movie? Whatever it answers.
Yeah.
That's what they title it.
I don't deal in subjectives. You'll have to ask another, and then you fucking abuse it and then force it, and then it spits out St. Elmo's Fire. Anyways, all right, so we begin with Riley.
Unblock Violet.
And I want to talk about, I maybe I was just a little bit high last night, but just the thought of people this age being this, within the melodramatic romantic context, unblocking one another is a very, very disturbing thing.
Yep.
Does it not give you guys the ick that these two older people are unblocking each other?
It's very childish.
Oh.
The fact they're admitting it.
It's so weird.
It could be left unsaid.
Violet enters. He has a very scared and tepid hi that he delivers to her. You think he's going to beat her up. I think that he is going to be in a shipping container when the cameras stop rolling.
It depends who gets to who first, but that greeting was like the opposite of the leg wraparound in The Bachelor.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it was.
It was very weird and bad.
Yeah. He says the whole point of this meeting is that he's not been perfect, to quote him, and he wants to make things with Violet.
Yeah.
Not been perfect. Understatement of the year. Yeah. The way that you guys have said goodbye to each other, even when you were kind of getting along, was you'd give each other the middle finger.
Right.
Not a match. Not a match.
Oh, Violet is... Violet... listen, that remains to be seen. But it seems like Riley's entire MO this episode is to either get her to apologize or to find out just how monstrous of a human being he's actually with, because he keeps saying these very almost rhetorical prying of confession from her. He's like, I just wanted to, as we say in America, extend an olive branch. Okay, Giuliani. And then, but he keeps asking, like, do you regret anything you've done over the past couple of days?
No.
Well, I'm setting this up very, very poorly because
No, you're not. That's exactly what happened.
This scene right here shows you just how diabolical Violet is. So we really need to break down the game.
No, I don't think we're at that point where he lays that on her. He's kind of like he's on his hands and knees begging for forgiveness, and he's behaving himself. So he tells her that he's gained a lot of wisdom after spending some time with a very wise man, He's learned that family is extremely important to people that live in Vietnam. The teacher of this knowledge.
What a weird country.
Yeah, totally. Huh? Family's important. Wow. The teacher that gave this knowledge to him, if you remember.
Oh,
the motorcycle tour guide.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That guy,
Mahatma Gandhi.
That guy really turned everything around for Riley and Violet.
Absolutely did.
No, he doesn't ask if she regrets anything here, but the first kind of bizarre rhetorical thing is asked, where he says, I'm just asking, was everything my fault? Was everything my fault? It's just the most, as bitchy as all that was, he returns her kind of balking at him with a really great question. Can you not keep secrets from me anymore? Because it makes me feel really, really bad, and it makes me think that you're deceitful. And her answer to this question is, no speak English.
Yeah, I love this. This was brilliant.
She, minutes beforehand, had delivered a really, really impressive English kind of just honesty about what she was going through.
She also said he was an insincere guy, too.
Right. But she used a lot of complicated English words. And then when he says, can you stop hiding pictures of twinks on your phone? She says, I don't know what the fuck you're saying.
They need better communication, so they agree that they'll use a translator device moving forward. I'm sure that will fix all of it. By the way, there's one little tidbit here. He's got, I don't know how long he said he was going to stay there, but it's moved pretty fast because he's got 4 days left to see if this thing's going to work out.
Wow. I feel bad about saying no speak English.
Oh, don't. As long as you don't do it in the accent, you can do.
I don't think that's right.
No?
No speak English. No speak English.
You know, like that's
not okay.
That's not okay to do. God damn it.
You know?
I don't know why I take us to the precipice like that. We don't need to. Let's get to Panama City. They are back.
Panama Canal.
The Panama Canal forest. As Jazz would say, they were collecting memories.
Oh, fuck.
They are trimming each other's nostrils, and as the little tiny dagger-like nostrils rain down on their upper lips, they then slam into one another and start licking each other's molars. It seemed like the itchiest, most disgusting thing.
Well, as this nostril hair trimming exchange, Dylan, is also a celebration that Gino dropped a few puffs of semen out of that wang-wang of his. Okay?
What?
Well, Jasmine...
He can ejaculate.
He can ejaculate. So Jasmine is, high in the sky right now.
Yeah.
These two crazy kids couldn't be happier.
Well, we talked about it last week. All you have to do to get Gino to where you need him to be is to douse him in your piss. You have to cover him in piss. God, this scene where she finds the erections. She finds the blue pills, and when he's really happy, like when Gino's really having a good time, and he's laughing, when he laughs, when he's having a really, really good time, I want to run out of wherever I am watching it. I want to run away. Physically, I want to get away from what I'm hearing and experiencing. It makes me sick.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's very fair.
Yeah.
She says things sometimes that, like, do you guys think that she's trying to be a dick when she says the, like, Gino, you know, before I was just scared, but now you can ejaculate. So, and you're like, Jasmine, and I don't know if she's doing it to be fucked up.
I think she totally is. She says awful things to him, a la Violet. She's like, Gino, because you remember, I don't think you were with us when we were covering it. Maybe you were. When he ate the nachos and he said 3/4 beef dip, 1/4 chips, Jasmine says, you can't eat those beans, Gino, because those beans are for real men. And she says it in front of her sister. It's awful.
Yeah. Okay, so this is definitely not something that's new to this relationship. I gather that Jasmine has quite the history of part of her in her tool chest of arguing with people she's dating is emasculating them.
Yeah. Who's the guy that has all those guns?
Is it someone she dated or just a person that has guns?
It's a very famous old actor.
Charlton Heston.
So he returns fire, not Charlton Heston, Gino. When they go to the park and he says, "You look pregnant."
Oh, ouch. Ouch.
And he does it in a very Gino way. They're talking about, maybe the producers asked them to talk about it. I'm not sure.
I believe this was producer intervention. Hey, we got nothing left for you guys to do except when you guys are going to be lunatics and fight again over something stupid.
Yeah.
Today will be a conversation about you guys having children.
Right.
Now, let's be clear. These two fools are not going to have a baby. Okay? The Easter Bunny comes more in a year than this idiot.
Oh, okay.
He comes once.
Right,
you know?
right. Okay. Yeah, because there are a lot of things not in their favor. Mainly,
like what?
Well, a lot of these hat pregnancies tragically do not go off because it's very difficult to pass a hat.
When it's a sleeping hat, not a baseball.
No. Body say baseball because Gino sleeps in the baseball hat. That's just right.
We learned that.
Yeah, we learned that. So, he pats her on the stomach and says, "You look pregnant," and then just like apologizes, backtracks, and then they get into a serious conversation.
And by the way, Jasmine is the one that pushes back on having a baby. She's already got 2 kids.
Yeah.
They have a relationship that's not exactly on the right track. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just a weird, piss-soaked relationship. Let's move on to David and Sheila.
Mm-hmm. Well, not just David and Sheila. We also have translator Amy.
Yeah.
And we have Jimrell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The beginning of this segment made me feel so... Again, marijuana does not help you understand things on a tangible level. So I'm a little confused about what happened, but I think that this whole thing kicks off with the producers kind of having David face the music for grunts he makes that he doesn't know that he makes because he's deaf. What the fuck was that?
All right. So I'll tell you what it was, Dylan. Now, who prompted this question? It was 2 girls chit-chatting about the bedside manner of one of the girls' boyfriends. I think it was Amy feeling out like, hey, can I get this girl to talk a little shit about this guy? Because I might just snag him. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I don't know that that's it. I don't know that would be a good reason for this. It was very strange to bring a deaf guy in front of camera and go, hey, you grunt and it's kind of gross.
Well, I think it was the Raquel feeling out Ariana. Hey, how much are you guys having sex kind of conversation.
Yeah.
Amy wants this man. Okay? Amy, the translator. She wants David. Despite the fact it's been exactly 1 week since he chucked an elderly woman through a fucking floorboard.
And Ruby, you do believe that David killed Sheila's mother, correct?
Yes, and I also believe that Amy has had David. I think that they did that together, and they have had one another since then.
That's why she knows about the grunting, because they've had one another. She's like, it's not even snoring. It's grunting. So then we just sit in perhaps the most awkward car ride of all time. We've got the translator. We've got David, who, remember, just killed Sheila's mom. And we've got John Real, who he's already a pissy but very sweet little preteen. Mm-hmm. Now he's got to be in a car with a man who not only doesn't speak his language, but doesn't speak aloud. Speak. He doesn't speak. Oh, and also that guy just killed his grandma. So it's a very...
Well, he doesn't know that. They kept it from him. Okay? To be fair, he doesn't know yet. He will learn.
I was squirming for little John Real. It was just so weird to put the kid through.
Okay, so what was weird about it was that Sheila really wants them to connect, because that's important, because if they don't connect, she ain't coming to America, okay?
Right.
And David, he's...
okay.
Right. He's going to propose in a week, so he needs to make this happen. So he puts in what I would consider a small effort on the bonding front. He asks what sports he's into, and then he says no further questions. Oh wait, he doesn't talk. But
let's really quickly. She says, "Do you have any questions for him?" He says, "What are your favorite sports?" He answers basketball and volleyball, and David says, "I've got nothing else." I can't think of a single other question to ask.
No more
this
questions,
child.
Your Honor. On a good note, though, I did learn the sign for the word basketball.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm learning so much.
Yeah.
Jacking off is this.
Right.
Who would have figured?
This is David.
Yeah.
We know David's sign.
Manja.
Manja, but that's Gino. Right. We're getting there. We're trying to be allies.
Another thing I noticed. Then David pulls out a friendly game of two-hand tag.
Yeah, okay. So then we get to the very sad Jerry Maguire moment where this entire thing is fixed. But, listen, I know that it's sweet. I understand that it's sweet. And it's like I was watching with my wife. And she's like, oh. And I'm like, what are you watching? What are you watching? Because he keeps wanting to play for too long. There's just like, get me out of the Philippines.
But Dylan, then Ruby, one of the greatest moments in TV reality history takes place. He's doing that hand thing. Amy, the translator, says to David, "You have big hands." And he says, "You should see my cock." He doesn't sign it. He says it. And everyone's speechless. It's like, you know how like a kid starts speaking French and Spanish and it's because he saw an alien? He suddenly knows two languages. Everyone's in awe. I'm in awe watching it.
That's what happens.
It's like some Area 51 shit, man.
That's what happens to children who come into contact with extraterrestrials. They just become trilingual. No. They get fucking torn to pieces. They're trying to figure out what's going on with us. But when he was saying all that, I was thinking of interrupting and just asking if this was going to be a thing that actually happened. But I've interrupted too many times.
Oh, no. He said, "You should see my cock."
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, Rubes, what do you think about this storyline in the Philippines?
Well, then Amy was like, "I already did." And then they started fucking in the car. So I thought it was great. I don't want to get out of the Philippines. I want to stay right here in this car.
She keeps screaming. It's like a soup can. It's like a soup can.
I just realized, you know how, I think I saw the stream. It was on Hulu. They have a different version, you know? I don't think the people watching TLC saw the same thing that we did, you know?
You know, Hulu has the rights to Akatar, and people are not happy about it. All right, so we move on.
Well, we arrive at the beach.
Oh, yes. We arrive at the beach.
Looks like a place where serial killers dump off their victims. Place looked like a dump.
You just see Robert Durst walk in the background.
Hey, Rob.
Of course.
Is that you?
Of course. They knew all along. Of course.
But things are mended and we pass time with one of the finest ways to do it.
Skipping a rock?
Skipping rocks. I what with this age of dopamine hits and social media and the TikToks, I'm addicted to this stuff. I love sitting down and just going into a black hole for 40 minutes, you know? But even with that strong demonic pull, I would still say, give me a flat rock and let me throw it around for a while. And I know it's difficult to retrieve the rock and do it again, but that's how I skip rocks.
Now, here's one issue I had with this little fun play here.
Yeah.
Is the beach was filled with beachgoers actually in the water where they were throwing the rocks. So I was like, hey! Yeah.
I did that to my cousin Wesley. He beat the shit out of me. I just hit him in the head while he was in the creek with a rock.
Now, I didn't have all these Game Boys and everything that you guys had in your generation. We would go outside, and one of our pastimes would be we'd throw rocks at each other.
No, not.
Yeah. I hit my friend Sully right in the head from like 40 feet away. He went down. I thought I killed him.
Yeah.
I still got the win, though.
What do you mean the win?
Well, I hit him.
Oh.
It felt good. It was glorious.
Okay.
All right.
That's good.
Okay.
Okay. One last note on this before, because I know Dylan wants to get out of Philippines because it's so depressing. Sheila tells us that.
Am I on an island?
What do you mean?
With that, are you guys not depressed by this story?
Oh, it's depressed, but I think it's interesting, and I ship them. I want a great life for that whole family, you know?
You know, if we're talking about people we ship, they're probably, if not one B, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well,
we all want Misha and Nicola to work out.
Oh, no, I want to see her doing like infomercials or something. I hope for Misha. All right, Sheila.
You will, Patrick. You will.
Sheila tells us the things that she's learned from her mother's death, because now it's been a week and she's reflecting, She said...
Can I interrupt really quickly? Yeah. She said, you're going to say she said something.
It's what she said. I wrote it down.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, no, this is... Ruby, you tell me if this is not what she said. She said, someone should have fixed that hole in the floor.
Yeah.
She wants a better life for her son.
Uh-huh.
And moving forward, she'll be sleeping with a murderer.
No, I don't.
Yeah, she said that.
Yeah, no, verbatim.
No.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's go from beach to beach, or rather, very scary shale kind of jetties in the middle of the Mediterranean. This was a beautiful place, but a haunting place.
I hate Nicola. I hate his guts.
Misha, I'm walking like a turtle, Misha. I love his accent.
I don't.
Nicola, I can't believe you picked pink. She is... I'm not kidding. I think she's fucking shit-faced.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are so many examples to enter into the record. What is wrong with you?
She's dying.
Dylan, the idea of her like closet drinking airport-sized bottles of shit and then going fishing with him is...
I don't know where she got the booze, but she got a lot of it.
Well, to be fair, she's drinking Jesus' blood, okay?
Yeah.
Jesus juice. It's okay. It's all right.
So, yeah, that's what Nicola says. He goes, it's all right. So Misha goes out, and Exhibit A, he shows her his favorite hobby, which has a historical and spiritual tie to his Messiah. And she just starts stuffing him in a locker about it. Like, she's just making fun of how fucking lame fishing is.
What she was saying that is because Nicola recounted how Jesus would like to just stop by that local town, get a pink lemonade, and then go over there and do a little surf fishing.
Yeah.
Jesus was a fisherman, Misha.
You know, a lot of people theorize that Jesus went on the spice trade with his uncle and came into contact with Eastern spirituality, which is why he could clean up how the Jews were thinking so well, But he wasn't. He was just going to kind of like Coney Island-like places in the Middle East with his uncle, drinking pink lemonades and just figuring out like how to have a good time. Fishing is of paramount importance to that story.
Oh, hi, honey. Oh, that's my daughter. Sorry.
Hey, Ellie.
Hi, Elle.
Oh.
Hey. How you doing?
She loves the boys. Now, it's worth noting, so yeah, we head down to that surf spot. I have to say, Misha, on a serious note, what a good sport. Does she go along to get along? I like that kind of personality, because she should have said, this is fucking lame. I mean, she busts his balls a little bit. Even when she takes the scrapes. I mean, those were some deep scrapes, Dylan. She does not
let's talk
cry.
about the scrapes. The scrapes were actually not that deep. They probably penetrated the first, maybe second, third layers of skin. I don't know what I'm talking about, but they weren't that deep.
Yeah, that sounds pretty deep. But I agree. They were superficial.
They were superficial wounds. But what happens when you're on the verge of blacking out is your blood gets very thin. You start bleeding like a sieve. Exhibit B, Misha is just, she took it a little too far. And only because of how dangerous that area was. If the water wasn't there, I view it as like you're on the top of a building. You know what I mean? You step off that thing and you're getting swallowed up by that big whale from the Bible. The Leviathan is down there, and you can't be drinking around the Leviathan. It's not safe.
Misha, come back, Misha. And she's like, no, I need to. And I did appreciate in her cutaway when she was like, I mean, I think that I could fish, Nicola. It's not very difficult. You kind of just stand there. And he's like, Misha, no, Misha. She's like, I do. I think I could do it myself. I was like, it's his entire life.
It's his entire
life.
And he says, this is really huge because it's the first time I've ever brought a woman to see, my fishing. And he says, it was awful. He hated it. Poor guy.
All right, so a couple notes on this. They sit down after he fixes her legs up. They're going to meet his family the next day, and his mom. He warns her. She's I guess a pretty old judgy bitch, you know.
Yeah, cinder block of an old bitch.
Now Nicola adds that he's been hiding Misha from his mother that he lives with for the last 7 years, which in my estimation would involve some dishonesty.
Yeah.
That's a sin, my friend.
Well, dishonest, I don't.
Well, if she can't hear Patrick, maybe there is no dishonesty.
Well, what if she asks who are you talking to all the time on the goddamn phone? He says, no.
She can't. She can't hear him.
She can hear.
She can hear him. Doesn't his mother talk?
No, Sheila was screaming into her mother's ear. That wasn't Nicola.
You guys, it's both of them. Kaylin, am I wrong?
Huh?
I don't know.
Kaylin doesn't watch the show.
No. All right, Rubes. You know I only like to make Dylan look wrong. No. At some point, Misha asked to speak Arabic in the family meeting so that his mother can hear what they're saying.
But I still think that Ruby's point is that she is very hard of hearing.
Fair enough.
The fish. Do you remember that? The opener that we first meet her and she's like, "What is the fish?" And he's like, "The fish." And she's like, "The fish."
Oh, yeah. We were doing a bit about how he was yelling. She was like, "Huh?" You know? But I love how blunt Nicola is. He's just like, "They're not going to like you, Misha."
They're not going to like you.
Oh. What?
He just flat out tells her. They're not going to like you.
What do you want me to say?
All right, so should we stop doing the voices?
No, we could do the voices.
No.
We could do the voices, right?
By the way, I hate to say this. I used to have to tell new girlfriends or something when they were going to meet my mother, I'm going to be like, she's not going to learn your name. And if she does say your name back, it's going to be the girl that I was dating before you. I'm not sure if it's some weird game that she's playing.
It's like a cool little magic trick.
But don't feel bad about it.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get to Dempsey and stats. Dempsey feels betrayed. By the concealed pussy flares that Stats was sending up the second she touched down in the United Kingdom.
Pussy flares. I like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
You know, it's like if you were lost at sea and you needed a life raft, you blow up a flare.
Now,
but Stats doesn't need the life raft. She needs pussy.
Now, Ruby, I think we didn't do a podcast with you. Where do you stand with Stats wanting to move in with, I think I know what you're going to say. What's your opinion on Stats asking to move in with Dempsey?
Insanity.
We are in agreement.
Straight people don't get it.
They don't.
No. You know,
there's nothing to say about the sexual orientation. I think that a person that you have only met once for less than a week, that you've been speaking to virtually, that lives in another country where visas are an issue, it's just not practical. And for you to be 33 and gaslighting this poor girl, this little farmer, just let her be a farmer. Let her farm her shit and figure your shit out.
Yeah.
And use your own manure.
But
Statler.
But you are wrong because you don't understand U-Haul lesbians. U-Haul lesbians are evidently a very, very real thing.
It's my plight as a straight person. You're right. I don't get it.
That's the U-Haul.
You hear that? That's a diesel moving vehicle.
It's a sound very, very common in the lesbian world, I've heard. Now, I want to say this. Stats, the reason Dempsey's it's a two-prong argument. One is you're patently insane for asserting that you think this is a good idea to move in. Secondly, then you bring up the fact that you've been fucking pussy flaring.
Yeah.
This is why Dempsey's really pissed off. And Stats, you dropped this goddamn thing on purpose. I mentioned this the last podcast. Don't play dumb. You did it to be manipulative. This has been a device you've used on girls before.
She totally plays dumb with the whole thing, and Dempsey sees right through it. She may be a filthy farmer from the North England, but, Stats emotional manipulation is not working here.
Now, by the way, so I don't want the audience to think we're jumping ahead. So Stats is still sitting by herself in the trailer at this point. Demps went out to work. It was a weird, uncomfortable morning. Stats calls her friend Natalie. Now, Stats does something that I kind of respect, which is when you're wanting to seek real advice from a friend, this friend being Natalie, don't color the events that took place because while you're recounting what took place to get the advice on. Stats is pretty honest about what took place.
No, she's not, because she's honest, but she's badly attempting to absolve herself of some kind of criminality because it's a misdemeanor crime. But it's still, you landed in the UK and you were communicating with your ex-girlfriend about possibly staying over, and her defense is, I wasn't going to.
Right.
That's not good enough, especially not for Dempsey.
Fair enough, but at least she did mention that in trying to elicit some kind of advice from her friend Natalie. Right. But this is one problem with Stats. There's many problems with Stats. But Natalie basically advises Stats that she's being too pushy with this stuff. And it's worth noting that Stats takes a very one-sided kind of outlook on how events should take place when two people are involved, the other person being Dempsey. Yeah. She says the reason she wants this to happen is, 1, she's ready, 2, her lease is up, and 3, she texts with her ex, but there's no feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you. But Dempsey, she has another, she has emotions.
You're saying Stats is kind of like Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just deplorable behavior. It's disgusting.
I can't wait to hear both of your opinions on when we visit them again in about 15 minutes when she drops the adoptive thing, and that's why she kind of behaves the way she does.
Okay. All
right, let's get to Christian
and Cleo. Start with a little straddle in the morning. That was cute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. Do you think that he reacted the way he reacted because he saw the pee-pee, or do you think he's just genuinely repulsed by her at this point?
No, I think he was uncomfortable with it, but the cameras were on, so he was like, "Whoa!" It sounded like he was going down a Mario tube.
Nope.
Yeah, because it looked like her dick flopped out of her cute little boxers.
You are a gross turf, and honestly, the podcast is trying to get away from your rock and roll J.K. Rowling kind of fucking speak. So actually, take several seats. She straddles him a little bit. She's nuts, and that's not a pun. I'm saying she's unwell. She is still very, very not okay with the fact that when asked almost at gunpoint or at lens point if they had sex, he said, "We fooled around." This is a cataclysmic answer. She's devastated by this because she's, when I say these people are mentally ill, it makes it tough because she is severely autistic. But so we know what's going on there, but Riley has no excuse. Although, can you talk?
Sure. Okay. So we meet the astrologist Evelina, who's a friend of Cleo's, and they work off some kind of chart thing. I've never seen that thing before. But Christian gets his reading first, and here's what the astrologist Evelina notes. This is her reading of Christian. Here's a list. Christian's a moron. Doesn't care about other people's feelings.
Yeah.
He's tactless. And this was a weird one. She said his Trump impersonation is lackluster.
Yeah, it was lackluster.
He was doing an imitation of other comedians doing an imitation.
Of course, yeah.
Pretty hacky.
Yeah.
Cleo's reading is she's a sensitive pain in the ass.
Rick Scott.
Rick, we love Rick. Rick's out there. He's a great guy. Great guy.
Rick Scott.
We love Rick.
Rick was a much better governor than Ron DeSantis. He was a much Rick. And then he says something sexual about his wife in front of a big group.
I love the husband and wife in bed watching Fox News, watching the rally or whatever. Like, should we know who Rick is?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Cheryl, who is Rick? I don't know.
I guess he's a great guy.
And Laura Ingraham comes on, and she like in like a Terminator kind of way, like lets us know that he's talking about Rick Scott. And you're like, oh god.
I mean, he's talking about Rick Scott, obviously, and I mean, we love Rick. And guess what? If you love Rick, so do we.
Yeah,
so
if you love Rick,
so do we.
We love Rick. If you don't like Rick, we don't like Rick either.
And that segment was sponsored by Lipitor. Okay. So all right.
So astrology. So overall,
astrology.
These two people could behave like enemies. This is Evelina's reading, and they're probably not going to work out. And then this brings Cleo to tears. Very upset.
Not just to tears.
Mental breakdown.
Yeah. And Christian is not cool about the entire thing. He starts off the astrological date. He goes, "I don't like it. Sounds like a bunch of mumbo jumbo to me." And then says, "Me and Trump have the same birthday. We're not alike." And I would say, you kind of are.
No, you have a lot of similarities.
Yeah,
actually, mainly the hair.
The hair. There's. Listen. He's
no politics.
He's not the most unlike Donald Trump.
Right.
That's all. That's what I'll say. But he's like not a fan of this mumbo jumbo, but Evelina's hot. So when he gets there, he's completely fine with it.
Oh, yeah. He's having a great time.
Right.
All right, we done with these two?
Yeah.
All right, let's move to Sheila and David because we know how much you love this.
Wait. The only thing I want to say about this astrological day is one, Geminis they're two-faced.
Oh, the biggest horrible girlfriend I ever had was a Gemini. Horrible girlfriend.
She was a June baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
I told her, I said, you're pretty horrible. And she says, I know, I'm a Gemini.
I'm a Gemini. But at one point in the reading, he turns into like a farmer who had to go to the city to get a diagnosis on their child. Tragic, hypothetical, but he goes, "This is getting a little spooky here. Just tell us, Doc, are we going to be together or not?" I didn't need to go back.
Okay.
I didn't need
That's
to.
okay.
I didn't need to go back.
This is a safe space for comedy, Dylan.
Kind of, but it goes out to people, and then that's embarrassing what just happened. You know what I mean?
That's okay.
But it reminded me of Dewey Cox when the doctor comes in. He goes, he was cut in half. We were unable to attach the top part to the bottom part, and the dad says, "Speak English, Doc. We ain't scientists." He says, "Your son was cut in half. He's not going to make it." And they light a candle. All right, so
dinner.
Let's sit down to some dinner with John Real and the gang. They eat at the emptiest restaurant in the Philippines. This was as if it was cleared out for a movie, and they just kind of stumbled into the place, and there were people working there. It was absolutely bizarre because it was the big area, but they were the only people in it. Haunting stuff from the Philippines. Get me out of the Philippines.
Now, I suspect, and I'm curious what Ruby's thoughts are on this. I think in between that car ride and that beach day and then this dinner, Sheila spent a little time with John Real to coach him up a little bit. And this is how it went down.
Oh, God damn it.
She said, do you want to see Mama on Pillow Talk, 90-Day Pillow Talk?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's where I'll be on Monday nights, okay, if you stick to the plan.
Right.
I want to sit on a bed next to this creepy son of a bitch. That's the guy who's splashing water in your fucking face all day. Stick with the plan.
Yeah.
Pillow talk. And then John Real says, but he's a murderer.
Yeah. Yeah. Rubes, did you see that? Oh, was that an inference on your part?
John Real is completely coached up at this point that this is going to be his second father.
Well, I disagree because he's not really playing ball here. They're like, "Do you want to move to the United States?" He's like, "Fuck no."
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think that's part of the coaching is that she's like, now listen, what do you say when he says, "Do you want to come with mommy?" You say, fucking no.
Yeah.
You're not coming. Okay. Because she doesn't want him to come. I don't think.
Okay. So what about, or this, Sheila's like, you can't just start drooling over the possibility of us moving.
Play
you
hard
gotta
to get.
play this cool. Okay. Although I think David is kind of a soft target, so I don't think that she needs to go through all this mumbo jumbo. But what a sad day. A tear cried for Ellis Island. young John Riel does not want to come to these shores. He wants to stay in a biblically cursed treehouse. It's getting hit with every natural disaster, and now there are fucking ghosts sending people through the floor, and John Riel's like, I don't want to go to a place where like every product in CVS is just locked up. I don't want to go there. And we get it, John Riel.
I was going to say, and as I stare at Lady Liberty, you know what I say to that little boy? Stay there. And not from any, you're right. You
Can
shouldn't
you really
come
see
here.
the Statue of Liberty right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
That's really cool.
It's beautiful. Well, David says he wants to
Big thing in New York.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know that France, when they gave that to us in like 1870 or whatever it was, they were handing out Statue of Liberties. You know, that's not the only Statue of Liberty around the world. There's a bunch of them. Did you know that?
Did you? I only sent like very, very recently, Patrick. I learned that more recently, and I mean the last 4 days. I learned that Alaska only became a state in like the 60s,
like 40
or
years
something.
ago. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's pretty cool. There's a lot of interesting facts out there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of unknowns.
Can I tell you something?
Germany is younger than the United States.
Yeah, that's true.
By like quite a bit.
Yeah, it was called something else before.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law, before I realized she was insane and losing her mind, would sit next to me and we'd be having dinner. And then she'd be telling me how, the Bush family and the Kennedys, they were all in cahoots with each other. And she'd be talking about this, and they had this bunker. And I'm like, Mom, where'd you learn that? And then you'd have to dig a little deeper, and she got it from the History Channel 3. The History Channel has a third channel.
A lot of good content. That's the fringe programming. They teach you about what a fucking piece of shit Prescott Bush was. Ugh. My God.
And then we can end on this, and cheers to Prescott, but this is just a piece of history about you guys. On some episode of something you were reading, popsicle stick jokes, and you both were like, yeah, this is a really, really bad one, but it still to this day is one of my favorite jokes ever. And I believe it goes, what do you call a pile of cats? And it's a mountain.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that actually is a pretty good one.
No, that's a really good one.
I don't understand how the Bushes and the Kennedys could have been in cahoots.
My mother explained it. Didn't make any sense to me. That's why I started digging deeper. I'm like, when
I think of those two, I think Montague and Capulet. I mean,
the families go way back, Dylan.
Way back.
Yeah, there's a lot to that history.
Yeah, Kennedy's dad was over in England. He was an ambassador, and he goes up to Churchill. He goes, I don't think you're going to win this one. I think you should let the Nazis win. He's like, do you like Nazis? And he's like, it's not the point. And Winston Churchill was like, I don't want that guy here anymore.
Get him out of here.
Get him out of here. He's got a bad attitude, and I think he likes Nazis.
All right. Anyway, so anyway, this ends with I think David getting a little insecure whether or not Sheila and John Rell are going to make their way over to America, because he's only got a 1-bedroom apartment, but he's pretty. He assures them, if you guys move over, I'll get a new place. But Sheila, she's got a little bit of that like side eye, like,
yeah,
you know. I think he saw that too. He's like, bah.
Do it one more time, but louder. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was good. Thanks. So, hey, let's get to Riley.
All right, yeah. And let's move this a little faster. This episode's going too goddamn.
No. Oh, my God. Yeah, we got to move this much faster. I do just want to kind of talk about Joe Kennedy being a Nazi sympathizer. All right, let's get to Vietnam. Riley is ironing his finest
traditional
Buddhist garb. He looks good in it. They're heading over to the temple. Ruby, enough?
Okay. I mean, she called him fat, not me.
Like a true pimp, she tells him to turn around when she sees him, so she can get a good look at of that ass. And then she negs him. Yeah, she calls him fat. Mm-hmm. She's like Mysterio or whatever.
Mm-hmm. She's like Roger Ailes.
All right, so Violet tells him to shut the fuck up and pray. Be quiet here and pray. Mm-hmm. And there is, after the prayer, a very cute moment where they write their names on a beautiful kind of Parisian bridge comparison.
Yeah, this is called a tourist trap. For $5, you can write your goddamn name on a ribbon with a Sharpie. Suckers! Suckers!
Wow. Mm-hmm. What do you think is a cooler attraction? This wall, that bridge in Paris where you put locks, or the gum wall in Seattle where everybody puts their gum? What's the best out of those?
It's hard to pick.
Yeah.
I will say one thing to note from this. Riley feels at peace here. We learned he prayed for peace and to not hurt anybody else with his words. And then Violet prayed that she was hanging out with that guy that she was texting with earlier that didn't have his shirt on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love how we'll get to her kind of cure-all defense of don't bring up the past, which is, it's really perfect if you think about it, like technically speaking, because what is the present but the middle of a sand timer between the future and the past, So if she gets a text from a naked guy kind of stroking himself in preparation for her, and he sees it, it's in the past. So we don't talk about it. Mm-hmm. And he could say, oh, but it just happened. It did, Riley, but it's also in the past. So we're not going to speak about that, but we'll get back to them in a little bit. Let's get to the
present. The present is a gift to Violet.
Right.
So that's all. So she just she opens her phone and he sees the naked guy and she's like, gift.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's get to Panama. We begin with shots of a bookie, I think. Mm-hmm. There was this... Did you see that woman?
No. A Wookie or a bookie?
A bookie.
A bookie.
Yeah, she's like taking numbers from people in the middle of the street. There's going to be a cockfight. But we get back to the conversation about pregnancy. Gino thinks he can have kids. Jasmine thinks he's crazy. He says he wants a child. She really pulled the rug out from under him. She pisses all over him and then tells him she doesn't want to have kids. It's just that's everything that happens in the segment.
Yeah, well, I love this cliffhanger too. She says, if I don't want kids, is this a deal breaker?
Yeah.
Ooh, way to keep me on the edge of my seat.
Yeah. I'm so... Whoa, Pat, whoa. You're going to fall off your seat.
Yeah. I would if a baby came out with a hat on. Holy shit! Can you imagine the nursing staff? They're like, holy fuck!
You would be
a fucking baseball cap on the baby.
What if he came out and he's got like a little Q on the top of his head? Your son. Look at that hat. It's P for Patrick. Okay, so
I love the reviews we get, by the way, Dylan. Like, they think they're funnier than they actually are. You know what? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably true. I mean, we're having a fun time in this context because we're all with each other. But hope you're having a good time listening. So Dempsey and Stats are up next. Dempsey is being a massive, unreasonable bitch, I think. She says, I've known you for 4 days. I don't think it's prudent for you to move in. I mean...
Fucking cunt.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Well,
yeah.
Well, that's when Stats makes the argument. She feels like the relationship is moving at a quote-unquote snail's pace. Would you like to hear the snail, what it sounds like?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Demps is pretty upset that she was talking with that ex of hers, and Stats is scared of being dumped, which is why she's always felt abandoned. Yeah. That's when then she brings up the adoptive thing. Now, I feel bad for Stats here. If I didn't feel like I know her, like I've been watching for the last 10 weeks, I do think this is a little bit of manipulation here. What are your thoughts?
I agree, Patrick. I think that there are many people, although I will not try to minimize the effect that being adopted has on people. I think it's just, I'm sure it's astronomically difficult to deal with. And I do think her family now is very loving, but whatever, that bears no bounds on. It's got to be tough. That being said, it kind of reminds me of like when serial killers justify their rape and murder of women by having bad relationships with their mom.
Yeah.
But, like there's a lot of guys that have bad relationships and they grow up to be like perfectly normal guys that don't remove and dismember.
A little bit of a false equivalency though, don't you think?
I think it's a fair point,
I don't at all.
Because you're kind of comparing a relationship that's moving at a snail's pace to the Hillside Strangler.
To Ruby's point, I think it's an apt analogy. I think that...
Well, I'm outvoted.
There you go.
Thank you,
Yep,
Patrick.
serial killers do often lean heavily on my mom was kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
Therefore, I had to chop other women up and put them in bags and drop them off at various dumping sites.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like a lot of adopted people probably like are faithful to their partners and don't text their exes when they land to meet their partner for the first time.
You want to hear my impression of Jeffrey Dahmer?
Sure.
Hey, Dad, don't go back there.
Shut up, Jeffrey.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Don't touch that barrel, Dad. Don't get out of my room. All right. So
anyway, they hug it out, and I guess they're gonna still attempt to make this thing happen. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to the Duck District to fly some kites. Mm-hmm. We're back in Vietnam, and we sit down for one question and one question only. I need to ask you one question. She says it better not be about the fucking past.
Gift.
He says it is. It's just I need to ask you one question. Do you regret texting my father that I was a monster incapable of love? And she says, don't talk about the past.
I think she reminds him, too, that they had agreed they weren't going to talk about the past.
She does.
We weren't going to talk about the past. Bringing up the past.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And look what it does to us, Riley, when you bring up this past.
Yeah.
He cannot help himself, this guy.
No. No, he cannot.
There's always an inner rage going on with him. Like, just let it go, you idiot. I do want to point out, I thought was going to trigger him and piss him off was when she asked the pointed question, how much is in your bank account? But he seemed to field that one pretty well and keep his composure.
Yeah.
His net worth is $100,000, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He also, like, in all of his cutaways, seemed to think, he was like, listen, I want to be an open book for her. Like, I'll answer. This is fine. And I was like, is it fine, though, Riley? This is very weird.
Yes,
you know?
I agree. This is where you can put your foot down and go like, I do okay.
Yeah.
He says, and I like this one, he makes broke look good. I like that. Mm-hmm.
What?
He makes broke look good.
But he's not broke.
He's not broke, but I mean, he's a man of a certain age. He should probably have more net worth than $100,000.
Well, that's why John Reel doesn't want to come here, because there's a lot of...
Well, this is Riley.
No, I know, but Riley is a victim of a system that pays out dividends to the wealthiest and leaves the rest of us. Kaylin, you know what I'm talking about.
I got you.
And you know who doesn't do that? Is the Philippines.
Right.
So...
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everyone's on their own there. And you better not be gay.
Jesus Christ.
No, I think that's a thing there.
No,
or bad at carpentry, because you'll die.
I thought they have a very, very strict policy about homosexuality there. Maybe it's Singapore. I'm not sure. Sometimes let's get to the last part of that episode.
Patrick, you talk.
Yeah. All right, Misha,
part of it.
Nicola. We spend 3 minutes with her picking out an outfit, which I thought was unnecessary. And Nicola once again braces Misha for his mother being a complete bitch. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I already said I was going to talk about how my mother, I'd have to really lower the expectations for ex-girlfriends. Yeah. His home, we meet Nadia, the mother. Flowers and chocolates are gifted.
And we shouldn't pass over the fact that Nicola has toy monkeys attached to the headrests of his cars.
Does he really?
Mm-hmm.
You know the ones with Velcro hands?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you could put your fingers in the hands with the extended arms and
and slingshot them.
Yeah,
Nice.
and they'd fly like flying squirrels.
Yeah, you'd have to spend like $125 to get one of those at Magic Castle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love the Magic Castle.
Castle Park, I should say.
Oh.
The fun thing about Castle Park is the batting cage. If you go into the higher MPH cages, it could come at your head. You really have to be on your toes in those cages because they're not up to code. You know, because the teenagers put too much DW40 on the wheels. And those things fly at your face. But it teaches you to be alert in the fucking batter's box. And then
Just
you've got...
It's like Nadia. Nadia teaches Misha she has to be alert because she'll get the fuck up in the middle of a conversation and leave to go make grape leaves if you don't entertain her.
Yeah.
Great.
She does.
Misha comes in very, very hot. If she...
Slut.
Stop.
That was a joke, obviously. My God.
couldn't
I
be
love
nicer.
her.
If she was wasted in the beginning of this episode, she is, I think, on some kind
Pills.
of methamphetamine in this one because she is buzzing all over the place. Dude, she's like, she's buzzing all over the place.
She's like, hey, your mother just left the room to go cook. Let's go and stare at her.
Right. And she's like, these are my favorite chocolates. Nicola, speak to her. Tell her that they are my favorite chocolates from America.
You don't need to know my mom, Misha. She does not like you, Misha. This is okay.
So they sit down to quite a spread.
Well, they do. It looks like a wonderful lunch that Mom prepped.
Beautiful food. Beautiful cuisine.
Now, this is where I have a problem with Nicola, and he's such a loser. One of his brothers says, hey, how'd you meet? Okay? And Nicola says...
No, Patrick. He says, you know her from where?
Right.
Fair enough.
Which is not to make fun of they are bilingual at the very least. I am a monolingual loser.
Yeah.
But it like them genuinely being like, where the fuck you picked this broad up from? That was the sentiment behind it. Which is important.
He put his boot on the table and he said, you know her from where? It's intense.
And Misha goes, hey, tell him.
Yeah.
And he's like, no.
Yeah. Nicola really hangs her out to dry like a Mediterranean trout. Let's end it there. Give us 5 stars. Follow Ruby at Papaya Dog Girl on TikTok. Go to patreon.com for an opportunity to donate a little or a little bit more. Follow us on YouTube at Bad TV Podcast, Tickies, Insties, all those things. We love you guys very much. I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Pat, say goodbye.
Later, dudes.
Ruby.
Bye.
Kaylin, see ya.
There's a lot of stuff on TV, but not all of it's good. In fact, a lot of it's bad TV.